Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. I'm Taryn, the traveling trainer with GoTarryn Personal Training, and today we're going to be interviewing not one, not two, but three awesome ladies right here who you've seen previously on GoTarryn TV. But before we get to them, I'd like to ask everyone out there, if you please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Today, our guests are going to address stress and digestion and healthy eating, because they are all three ladies here in the health and fitness industry who are going to help you do a better job of eating and also managing stress. We're going to talk about that in a jam-packed 30-minute show with three awesome women. And again, they're going to be here momentarily. Going from alphabetically by first name, we're going to be having Dedra of De-Stress 101. Then we're going to have Elsie of Elsie Trawick Wellness. And then finally, and last but not least, we're going to be having Nancy of Arbonne. So they're going to all be here in just a few moments to talk to us about healthy eating and how to manage our stress and digestion. So it's going to be a fun episode. It's going to fly by really quickly. So come on back and check this out here in just a few moments. But remember, with GoTarryn Personal Training, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and as you can see, as promised, we've got all three ladies here on the line, and a doggy in the background too. And I'm just kidding. In alphabetical order by first name, we've got Dedra, Elsie, and Nancy. Ladies, how are you doing out there today?
Fine.
Thank you.
Well, great to have you here. And I know the one thing that all of us have in common, a couple of Saturdays ago, we were at the health fair event there with Max, and that was a lot of fun. And so what did y'all think about that?
I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was cool, yeah. That was really good brainstorming, good chance to get together. And as I mentioned, I was wanting to get all of you on here so we could talk maybe diet and nutrition, because that's something that all three of you specialize in. Especially from three different perspectives, because you each have a different unique specialty in that field and that industry. So again, I guess I'll just direct the questions to start with. Dedra, can you help us out maybe and talk to us a little bit for the folks out there about stress eating and maybe digestion and things of that nature, please, just from your perspective.
Sure. So just kind of talking to people over the years and some of the things that I've experienced in my own body, I held a lot of stress. Stress was where I held, or my stomach is where I held all my stress. I spent my entire childhood in a gastroenterologist's office, and we couldn't figure out why. Well, it turns out that's where I hold my stress. And so once I realized that, and that there are certain foods that can kind of aggravate it, you know, when you're stressed, your body tends to produce lots of acid. And of course, that can lead to heartburn, indigestion, all those things. And so if you have a very acidic body, then you need to eat foods that minimize or reduce the amount of acid, things like lemons that will make your body more alkaline, limited processed foods. People think fruits and vegetables are always healthy. Vegetables, yes, but fruits have a lot of sugar in them, and sugar is also something that produces a lot of acid. So you just really have to be health conscious about the fruits that are lower in sugar, like your strawberries, blueberries, as opposed to cantaloupe and oranges, the things that we typically want to just pick up and eat. So that's kind of my spin on it, just trying to help people realize that your gut is always telling you when it's stressed. And even if the rest of your body is stressed, with around 70% of your immune system being in your gut, you really need to keep a healthy stomach and a healthy colon.
Yeah, very well said. And then again, going alphabetical by first name, Elsie, your thoughts on that too, please.
Well, we've got the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system involved when we get stressed. Our parasympathetic nervous system is our at rest. That's rest and digest. That controls digestion, and it just makes, that's when we're calm and normal. When we are stressed, we have engaged the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight. That slows, and when we're in fight or flight, our body slows down the internal organs and movements in the body to give us the energy to get away. It's a primal response. We're getting away from a life-threatening event. now in our modern society, we rarely have a life-threatening event that's causing our daily stress. It's situational. It can be a project. It's work-related. It's home-related. We've got to, a lot of working moms still have children that are engaged in activities, working moms and dads, I should say. So there's a lot of non-life threatening stress going on, and it keeps that sympathetic nervous system engaged, which slows our digestion. The blood is no longer going to our organs to push that food through, yet we still continue to eat. We eat 3 meals a day, and a lot of us stress eat, so we're eating even more possibly. And maybe we're even eating more sugar than we normally do because we want something that makes us feel good, or we've got that, I need energy. We think we need energy because the stress is wearing on us. So you understand, when we're engaged in that chronic stress situation, our body physically is slowing down to get us ready for a burst of energy to run away. It's a response. So through doing, like Dedra, through practicing, engaging in yoga, mindfulness, breathing techniques, things we can do in our home and at our desk that don't take a lot of time to get us to calm down, will help the digestion. And when also we're under chronic stress, it leads to a lot of other things because we've elevated the cortisol level in our body. And elevated cortisol creates a whole bunch of other situational issues within our body that we need to be aware of. And I'm talking here chronic stress. I'm not talking about the one-offs where it's like, whoops, I missed the bus, now I have to drive to work. I'm talking where we are, for weeks, we're keeping our bodies tense and up. And a lot of that does happen in our corporate, in our work life today, because there's more pressure on us to produce. There's more pressure on us to get more out of our work hours than ever before. So a lot of us live in chronic stress.
Very well said, Elsie. And then Nancy, would kind of piggybacking from what Elsie was talking about, because your specialty, obviously, being an entrepreneur and running multiple businesses same time, I guess I'm going to make an assumption. Have you ever been stressed?
Oh my goodness. That's why I left corporate. But you know what? I think stress is, you can't escape it today. It's part of our everyday life. And I have to echo what Dedra and Elsie were saying. I mean, they're both coming from different perspectives, but we're all agreeing on the same thing about having a healthy gut and doing some of the key things to manage the stress. And there's also another component and that's nutrition. When you start replacing foods that don't serve you with, that are processed and, sugar based and, that are more on the acidic side, and then you start adding more nutrition in, nutrient dense foods, and your body, for one thing, doesn't crave the junk. And you start fueling it with the things that it needs, and then so your energy levels increase. So you're balancing that pH, as they were discussing, adding alkaline-based foods, like adding lemon to your water, and eating more vegetables that help with that alkaline forming to balance the pH. That helps with inflammation. But also, when you start thinking about, instead of thinking about what you're giving up in terms of not reaching for those, junk food items or the fast food, and you start thinking about adding in those nutrients that your body so craves, then you reach a better balance state, and that gives you the energy so you don't have those, nodding off times in the afternoon, and you're able to handle and manage that stress so much better.
Very well said. And then Dedra, I guess, can we go back to you for a second too, just bouncing off of that, other thoughts with eating and stress digestion and such?
Well, since I am very familiar with where that place is in my body, there's a specific place in my abdomen where I just feel it clamp down when I have stress. And, some people think of yoga instructors and yogis in general as the not to offend, but the hippy dippy kind of transcendental, levitating kind of thing. But, there's something to be said about chakras because we have magnetic fields in our bodies. And without getting too scientific and too far left or right with that, I learned this a long time ago. Someone, after I had an abdominal surgery, actually did an energy massage on me. And by energy, I mean they didn't actually lay their hands on me. But the solar plexus is something that's a chakra, which is basically where all of your major blood vessels come together. It's kind of right underneath your breastbone in between your rib cage. And that's kind of where I hold my stress. And it makes a lot of sense because my heart rate is increasing. My respiration is increasing. All those things where those blood vessels converge, they kind of come together. So if you, without touching your stomach, were to go in a clockwise motion just around your abdomen from, say, your belly button to just under your breastbone, you might actually feel some gases and some things moving around in your belly because we live in a magnetic field. If you ever shock something, you touch something and you get shocked, that lets you know that there's static electricity in our bodies, and that stuff needs to be released. And as recently as Saturday, this isn't digestion related, but it is stress related. I had a very stressful couple of weeks. Even, yes, as a yoga instructor, I still get stressed. But Saturday, without even thinking, my dad was outside cutting grass. I walked over to him completely barefoot. I was like, oh, this is a great time to do some grounding. Grounding is walking barefoot, and it just pulls static electricity out of your body. And that was the best night's sleep I had in 2 weeks. Because if you think about, if you have an overabundance of static electricity, you might shock something or someone might shock you. But if it's coming out of your body, that means things have a better chance of getting back into balance. Those magnetic fields aren't as stressed and as taxed. And that can help with just your overall sense of well-being and your digestion. So if we could look at magnetic fields and energy and so on and so forth, there's something to be said about how the body and how God created the body and everything on the earth to kind of bring and promote healing to us. I've never had a doctor describe me walking barefoot in the grass because traditional medicine isn't going to look at it from that perspective. But walking in rubber soles all the time, on carpet, on concrete, it makes sense that can kind of build up, and it can wig our bodies out, wig our brains out, and our hormones are controlled by our brain. And so just the release of all of that buildup can just really help you. I kind of thought Elsie was going there to talk about adrenal burnout syndrome and all of these glands that we have. If they are under too much stress, you got cortisol levels, you've got leptin levels, you've got your adrenal gland, your metabolic rate. All of those things are controlled by glands that control our hormones. And so we just really need to practice overall body wellness when we're stressed. And to what Nancy said, the first thing we want to grab when we get stressed, and even Elsie touched on this, is a candy bar, something for that quick pick-me-up. But I'm very conscious. When I am stressed, as much as I might want sugar, I am so conscious this is to not to give into that feeling, because once you give into it, then it's just a cycle. And then you're going to notice an increase in the heartburn and the indigestion and all those things that kind of bring your digestive system out of balance. Probiotics is something that everyone should be taking, a quality probiotic, and that's just the healthy intestinal flora. There's really not much of a separation between your stomach and your gut as far as, I don't know, which one is it? Is my stomach hurt or is it my colon that's bothering me? So if we can just keep both of those things healthy and really feed ourselves a nutritionally balanced meal and diet, then we won't crave sugar and those things that we typically, or that other people, because we don't do that anymore, but those things that other people typically grab when they're stressed. You don't need that quick pick-me-up if your body is in a kind of an even state because you've been feeding it all along the right foods.
Yeah, very good, Dedra. And then Elsie, off of what Dedra is just saying, what are some good options, would you say, then, for healthier kind of stress, anti-stress, I should say, eating that we can do?
I really don't think there's one way you should eat when you're stressed and one way you should eat when you're not. I think the first thing is to eat a healthy diet. If if you're eating an unhealthy diet, if your diet is predominantly breads, pastas, baked goods, refined carbs, sugar, and if you're eating lots of vegetables, the best way to handle stress is physical fitness, emotional fitness, and what you eat should be clean and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a reason to get you to eat, if you need to make changes to your diet to eat clean and healthy, if you live in this world today, you're under stress. Stress is a good reason. Also, we all have comfort foods. We all have a food that, for me, growing up, it was rice and gravy, mac and cheese, kind of creamy, starchy foods. Loved them. Well, over the years, I have changed my comfort food. So now eating clean, eating a healthy salad that makes me feel good is a comfort food to me, not resorting. And I used to love, if I had a bad day, I deserve that chocolate chip cookie or things that I deserve that piece of cheesecake. Well, when we're stressed, that's what we don't need. We really need nice, clean, like a roasted chicken breast with good vegetables and water. Make sure you're drinking enough water. So when we all need to be aware of how much or how little we're sleeping, because sleep aggravates when we're under stress. Because there again, your body will turn to sugary foods and tell you it wants more sugar because it wants energy. When we're tired, we can't handle stress. So the best way to create a physical, mental, dietary wellness plan, all three together are critically important to being able to handle stress. We need to have mental exercises, mental projects, mental ways we can tune in and drop out to whatever, where we can take that 5 or 10 minutes that's necessary to even if it's deep breathing at your desk with your eyes closed just for 5 minutes and realign, going back to what Dedra talked about, the energy. We are a magnetic. We've got energy running through us. Taking those deep belly breaths in through the nose and blow it out will give us a reset. Drinking, making sure when we're under stress, making sure we're drinking water, fluids, keep our body well hydrated. So those are a couple of things diet-wise. But again, if you need to make tweaks to your diet, don't wait till you get stressed to do it. Do it now. Do it now. Get on the clean eating, healthy eating plan. Your body will thank you, and your coworkers will too, because you'll actually be able to handle stress better when you're well rested. You've got some tips and tricks that you can go, even if it's like, I have to go to the gym. I exercise every day at lunch, and that is part of my reduce stress, reset the body, because that 45 minutes that I'm exercising, my mind is not on the next thing I need to do. It is totally focused on what I'm doing. So we need to work these, take a good long look and create a plan. There's a business coach, Monica Shaw, and she says planning is the highest form of self-care. And I totally agree with her. We don't need to wait for the emergency to plan. We need to all plan now for getting our life on track, getting our diet on track. I know a lot of people say, I've always wanted to try yoga, but I've never gotten around to it. Now's the time to get around to it. Now's the time to take that time for you, for your mental health and your physical health.
Very well said, Elsie. And then Nancy, to spin off that too, Elsie was just talking about exercise, working out, and Dedra's touched on yoga as well. How important is exercise and working out, I guess, to combat both physical and mental stress, would you say?
I think it's huge. I think that's one of the biggest releases. I mean, I know I've found for myself personally, when I've gone through some of my most stressful times in life, I mean, I used to be a runner, and I used to, run that stress out of my body, or just being fit. I had an ankle injury years later, and, doing different classes, or, going to the gym is part of my routine every day. And I actually find that, you have to find the right timing for you. I mean, there's a lot of articles written that, morning's best, or different times. It's really what's the right time for you, when you can work it in. For me, it's getting up early. I have to get up before my family gets up, get to the gym in the morning. And, somebody will say, oh my gosh, I'm so tired in the morning. How do you do that? I'm like, it actually adds energy for me. I find that when I exercise, I'm more energetic. It helps clear my brain. I just think, better throughout the day. I'm just very sharp, focused. I feel balanced. It just affects so many different parts of your life. Stress, as we're talking about today, is a big piece of that. But, we become more productive throughout our day when we get into a regular exercise routine. So you got to find the right timing. You have to find something that you enjoy, that you can stick with, because if you're not a gym rat, if you can't get to the gym, then it's not for you. So find something you can do. Maybe you enjoy yoga or specific classes. Some people would rather be led in a group setting. Some people rather do individual activities. You got to find the right mix that's for you, and keep it, sometimes variety is good too, just in terms of shaking it up a little bit. If you're used to just doing, aerobic exercise, go and lift weights, or find something else that, go swimming, engages all parts of your body. Find something that's going to keep you going and keep you excited about it and keep you moving forward. So definitely a big piece of my lifestyle now.
Oh, yeah, very, very good. And then Dedra, I guess same thing too. I mean, exercise, obviously, your name implies itself, de-stress 101, so that's something that you work with every day. So how important is that, I guess, the whole component of helping your clients with the mental and physical stress?
I can't tell, is my shirt backwards to you? Can you see my shirt?
De-stressapes, I like that.
No, I can read it.
That is really cool, I like that.
I came up with that under a very stressful time of my life. I'm telling you, I teach what I have experienced in my own body and my own mind. So de-stressapes: exercise, hydrate, stretch, nourish, relax, sleep, and exhale.
Cool.
So I would say 90% of the clients that come to me don't exercise at all, and most of them suffer from anxiety. And so while some yoga instructors are interested in, making sure you can do a headstand or turn into a pretzel, I don't really want to do that, because the genesis of yoga is a settling of the mind. And if you're trying to convert into some pose that you feel like you already can't do, then your mind's not going to relax. And so I really just like to help my clients find that place of relaxation while challenging them a little bit. And, stretching is just so important. It can, and this as a personal trainer, it helps prevent muscle injury. You've got the bone health because you're lifting your own body weight up and down off the floor, and that's helping build stronger bones. And so exercise is key. But to Nancy's point, even I tell my students, yoga is not the only form of exercise you need to do. When I got on my fitness journey, I had been sedentary for years because I had eczema and I could not work out as a child. And when I got moving, I did several different things. I started off with the treadmill, the elliptical. Oh, the pool, that looks nice. That looks fun. Even though I couldn't swim, I was like, I can do water aerobics. Well, if I can do water aerobics, maybe I'm coordinated on land. Let's try Zumba. But then ultimately, I just had to pick one thing to do, kind of craft it and teach it. So I chose yoga just because I saw the benefits of it centering my mind. I worked in corporate America, and that's when I was the most stressed in my life, when I worked in radio. And people think, oh, radio is fun. It is, but it's still got huge budgets, huge type A personalities trying to sell to make money for the radio station. And so yoga was my escape. I would get up 6:15 in the morning, go there before work. Sometimes at lunch I would go back to do a cardio workout. Wow. But you really do have to find whatever your niche is. And so many people spend money on gym memberships and they don't go. Paying a monthly fee is not going to motivate you to go. You're just going to let that money fly out the window. So, exercise doesn't have to be something that's super expensive. Like Nancy said, you can go for a walk. Some of us need accountability partners. I used to say, I don't like group therapy. And then started going to yoga. I kind of like the camaraderie, talking to the ladies in the locker room after class and just seeing what different people were doing at the gym. But ultimately, just get moving. Do one thing to get some physical activity in yourself.
Cool. Yeah. And then Elsie, as far as your clients go for wellness coaching, how do you address when they come to you and you find out that they feel the stress from physical and mental components? Is that something that you can help them with and you touch on?
Yeah, I've gotten really big into mindfulness, even in my own life practices for me. And I talk about, especially because most of my clients want to change their diet. They're coming to me to lose weight. They're coming to me to get off gluten. They're ready to make changes to their diet. And we talk a lot about, very few people go cold turkey on anything and can maintain success. It's a process. And you take baby steps, then maybe you can take giant steps. So we talk a lot about the process of change and how to tackle that process. And when you're talking about changing your diet, it brings in a lot of emotional elements of eating is social. We have a lot of memories and attachments to certain foods and ways of eating and house eating. A lot of it involves a person's schedule too. Trying to lose weight, and you typically eat supper at 9 o'clock and don't go to bed till 11 or 12, and then you've got to get up be at work at 8:30, so you're getting up at 6. You're not leaving enough time to digest your food and get some sleep. Because when we eat on a full stomach, we don't sleep well. The majority of people don't, which creates indigestion, which can lead to GERD, can lead to SIBO, can lead to other ailments down the road. And I'm talking chronic issues like that. So we've also got to talk about maybe rotating that schedule so that they're making sure they're getting enough sleep, they're getting up in time to get to work, they're getting up in time if they are making their food because they want to start taking food in. They've got to process it. So we're looking at their schedule and building into that schedule. Again, like I said, plan. Look at your time. Plan these things. Because it is, if it's going to be something new and you're going to have to think about it, it better be on your calendar as an event.
Yeah, that's true.
That way you can set an alarm. You can notify yourself. It's like 30 minutes. I've got to take the time to plan my meals for next week. I've got to take the time to do this. So it's all about creating change in the body. Also, what I like to do with my clients is talk about primary foods. Primary foods are our emotions. They trigger stress. They're not the food we actually eat is secondary. We're driven more by emotion than we are by, I want to eat that hot dog over there. Because that hot dog over there has an emotional attachment to it. Primary foods are our physical well-being, our mental well-being, our financial well-being, our social well-being, our relationships. All of that is primary. And so we've also, the piece of learning how to eat clean and healthy is you may have to change some thought patterns, some approaches to what you do. And building in time for yourself is a part of that process. I really do stress with my clients the importance of exercise. I'm a group exercise person. I love going to group classes. I'm motivated by the energy in that room, by the people who are motivated to do their best. I can do a workout by myself, but I don't push myself as hard as I do with other people in the room. That energy lifts me up. But I'm a big believer in getting out in nature. I walk my dogs every morning, and I walk when it's quiet, when the birds are just out. We walk around between 6:15 and 7 o'clock, and it's a great time to be, especially now with our beautiful weather here in Georgia. It's a great time to be outside. I don't have earbuds in. I don't have my cell phone with me. I'm listening, and that for me is a big stress reducer. It's a big centering myself back in on myself. So I find that, and I talk about those kind of practices in my coaching programs. But to go back to what everybody has said, it's important to find something the person enjoys, because if they enjoy it, they're going to stick with it. If it resonates with them, they're going to stick with it. It will become a habit.
That's what it's all about, Elsie. You're right. Very good. And I see that our time, I can't believe this 30 minutes has flown by so quickly, ladies. Y'all did fantastic. But before we let you go, because I promised I'd have you out of here before 2:30, I know a couple of you have to leave. So, Elsie, can you tell the folks out there first, how do people reach you directly and learn more about Elsie Trawick Wellness, please?
Hi, yes. Elsie Trawick Wellness. You can reach me on my office phone, 404-315-7665. I have a Facebook business page, Elsie Trawick Wellness, and Elsie at elsietrawick.wellness.com.
Perfect. All right. And then, Nancy, how do people connect with you directly, please, and learn more about Arbonne, too?
Thank you. Well, it's simply my name, which is nancylovejoy.arbonne.com. You can learn about our 30 Days to Clean Eating program there as well. I have a Facebook page as well. Just look for Nancy Lovejoy, Independent Consultant. And my number is 404-316-8971. And thank you for hosting this today, Taryn.
My pleasure. And then last but not least, of course, Dedra, can you tell people how to reach you and learn about De-Stress 101, please?
Absolutely. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at De-Stress 101. My website is destress101.com. My phone number is 320-746-7365, and email is Dedra at destress101.com.
Perfect. Well, ladies, again, thank you so much for your time. This was a lot of fun. And I can't believe, again, half hour just flies by way too quickly with all three of you. So we got to do this again, please. I think we feel like we just scratched the surface on today's topic, but this was really good. I really appreciate all three of you. So as I promised, we're getting done right on time, right on schedule. I hope you ladies enjoy the rest of your day. And when we fade to black, we're going to put all your contact information that you just gave and provide it right there on the screen for the people watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Taryn.
My
Bye,
pleasure.
Dedra. Bye, Nancy.
Bye, all.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Great day.